What is up nerds, Hansi here, and I have to say welcome to the first Arduino tutorial. We will focus on interesting elements of Arduino, but not necessarily programming basics itself. And we'll start it all off by checking out how to control individually addressable LEDs with an Arduino. Before we dig into the code, let's have a quick look at how we can wire the electronics. Here we have an Arduino Nano, but you could use any Arduino you'd like. We're also going to need an individually addressable LED strip and a power supply, rated with the same voltage as the LED strip, and this is kind of important. There are 3 steps to get this wired properly. The first step is to connect all the grounds, meaning that both the grounds from the Arduino and the LED strip has to go to the power supply. The second step is to connect the data connector to any of the Arduino's digital output pin. These are the pins marked with a D and a number. The third and final step is to connect the 5V output from the power supply to the LED strip. So the next thing we have to do is to load up the Arduino software. If you're not already familiar with it, you can download it from arduino.cc, and this is the standard editor for Arduino projects. We want to download a library. A library is basically a selection of pre-written code, so that we don't have to write all the codes ourselves from the beginning. The library that we're gonna use is called FastLED. Once we have installed it using the Arduino interface, we can press the sketch button again, go to include library, and then press FastLED on the bottom of the selection. And as you can see, this includes a lot of files. But it turns out we actually only need the file called fastled.age, so you can remove anything else. We're gonna define 2 macros and 1 variable. One macro is called num_LEDs, which should contain the amount of LEDs that we have. In the sketch we used, we had 6 LEDs, so I'm using 6 LEDs here as well. And we're gonna have a macro that contains the pin number, which is the pin that the LED strip is connected to, and in this case we use 2 as well. The variable we define is called LEDs, and it's an array of type RGB, which is a type defined by the FastLED library. And this will contain the LED and the information about which color is in what LED. In order to be able to control the strip, we have to tell FastLED which pin is connected to our LED strip. We also have to tell it which array to store the LED information, which is the one we just declared. That's exactly what we're doing in this line, and it has to be done in every setup. Now we can loop through the array of LEDs and then set the color individually using the CRGB function. This function takes 3 parameters, where the first parameter is the value for red, the second is for green, and the third is for blue. And all of these parameters goes from 0 to 255. So now each CRGB element in our array is now blue. In order to make the change happen in the LEDs, we have to call the function fastled.show, and this will make the color of the LEDs change and they will light up blue. Now that we know the very basics, we can create a function called setBlue. This function does exactly the same that we just did, except it takes a parameter val and sets that value to the blue value instead of 255. And then we display the LEDs. If we in the main loop then create 2 loops, the first one goes from 255 and down to 0, and for every time it runs, it calls the setBlue function with the loop variable as the parameter. This means that the light will fade from high to low and delay 10 milliseconds for each run. After it has faded from 255 to 0, it will do exactly the opposite, go from 0 to 255 and set the value of the LEDs for each time. So with this code we have created a fading loop for the blue LEDs. And this fade should look something like this. Of course you can modify the delay and also the parameters to change the color and also the speed of the fade. So whether you choose to create something functional or something creative and beautiful, you now have the tools to do it yourself. Links to products related to this video are in the description. If you like these kinds of videos, please let me know in the comments and leave a like. Thanks to our patrons for giving the extra motivation to create this video. And as usual, stay nerdy and I'll see you next time.